Now that we got them glued down, we're going to go ahead and we're going to decorate our cross with our little lace that I have here. And I think I did like 5 inches just to be sure. You can always trim it if it's too much or not enough. So then I went ahead and I'm taking my pokey tool. And first, let's flip that over. And I'm going to take glue dots and I'm whirling them up. Like I'm rolling them on my... I'll show you again when I do the next one. And I just kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it. I like bunched it. Well, first I stuck it down and then I like bunched it up. But first, before we can do that really good, you got to take some more glue dots here and I'm just rolling them. Like I'm making them a ball like that. And I'm going to put one on each side of the cross here. Put one on this side. Alright. And then I end up like scrunching them a little bit before. See how I like scrunched it a little bit? I scrunched it up like that and then I stuck it down on the back side. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one on this side. I'm just going to give it a little scrunch. Trying to give it that like droopy look. And then I tried to cut these so at least they were even. So I'm going to cut this one off right here. And they're fairly even there. So then the next thing we're going to do is Stampin' Up! Sells these strips. Or you can get these types of strips. They're E6 strips, or whatever. Or you can use glue dots or whatever you have. I have a bunch of these left over, and since I'm mailing these, Stampin' Ups are very thick, which work awesome for shaker cards. They're just really, really thick, and this is just a tad bit thinner. And so because of that, I'm going to use this thinner stuff that I have. And I am just going to line this right up. And actually, this could actually be cut down a little bit. So I think I'm going to, let me give an idea here. I'm going to cut it down. Because it doesn't really need, this one's a little bit wider. You would not have to do this if you use the Stampin' Up! One. Because that one is like the perfect width. It's just that I didn't want it as thick off the page. I'll show you one. Actually, both of these are done with Stampin' Up's thicker, it's just thicker off the page. So, I mean, it's not that it's a bad, it's just that, and I actually love this stuff. That's all I got left, and I just ordered more. So I just figured I had some of this. You know how you just get a bunch of stuff before you're, before you get into Stampin' Up! And decide what you really like to use and different things. And I had this, so I'm just trying to use up some of my stuff to that effect. So there. And I'm going to have to trim this because I got it just a tad bit too long. And I'll trim this one too. Okay, I don't know where that one went flying at me. And then you got to press them down and then peel them off. Oh, I got to trim the big one too. I didn't realize I'd cut that one too big, but I did. Okay. And then just give it a press with your nails. And this is the same thing with the Stampin' Up! Ones. So whatever ones you want, depending on how thick they are. If you have the Stampin' Up! Ones, they will work. And then we're just going to line this up right with making sure that I don't want my lace underneath there. So right up, and it's okay if it goes over top of the S and the E because that's actually how I like it. And you just your eraser, and wherever you can see the pencils, erase it away. And it takes it right off, especially if you did it real light. It'll take it off. If you did too hard, you might have a little issue, but okay. And then just give it a little flick to get all your little stuff off it. So now for the card base itself, which I have here, and I will make sure I put the directions for the base of the card in the description box below. So it is 7 by 6.5, scored at 3 1/4. That's the base. Then you've got your Highland Heather, and this one is scored at 6 3/4 by 3, and that's gonna go right there. And then you got your white Easter card, and this is 7.5 or 6.5 by 2 3/4, and that's gonna go right there like that. So that's how we're gonna put that together. Now for the inside of the card, I haven't done them all. I only did, I don't know which one I did here. I did this one. Nope. I must have done this one. Yep. This is going to be our inside of our... So, okay. So for the inside of the card, I'm going to sit this out of the way for a minute. I'm going to put this here. I went ahead and I took the stamp set. There's 2 stamp sets in here. And I just ended up using regular markers. The 2 stamp sets that I used, well, the one I used out of the Timeless Tulip stamp set that we all, maybe it's got to go this way, yeah. Timeless Tulip stamp set that you all, it's in the spring catalog, or mini catalog right now. And it says, Happy Easter, Happy Spring, Happy, Happy Everything. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then for the flowers, I ended up using from the Painted Posies, I ended up using these flowers. You could put whatever flowers you have. If you have a smaller thing of a lily or whatever, would work great. Now before we put this in, I'm going to take the Gorgeous Grape stamp pad. I'm going to stamp this up. These are, I mean, what a great Easter card to send to somebody. I know I'm sending out a few special people that I have in my life that I would like to, that I'm thinking of, and I would like them to receive a card from me. So then we're going to take the Memento black ink, and we're going to stamp this up really good. And try to get them, the little flowers, even if you have to go off the page a little bit towards the bottom, just so they're closer to the bottom. So like that. And I didn't do a lot of fussy coloring on this. I'll tell you, you may think I did, but I didn't. And then on this side, just went down. And I just stamped. And that gives you some room for writing. You could always stamp a little butterfly. You can do as much or as little. If you're making bunches, then maybe you want to have it a little less, you know, maybe you don't want to do this on the inside. Maybe you just want to stamp the happy, happy and write and send it. But if you're just doing a couple cards, then maybe you might want to add a butterfly or a bee or something flying away. Because you can make them as fun as you wanted or as little as you wanted. So now I'm going to open up the inside of my card. And all I did was I took the blue and I just went around, oops, wrong end. I ran around with this end and I just randomly decided, and I'm not doing any fancy, like you could see, I don't care if it's all colored in, little bits, it doesn't matter. I just wanted them like to be colored, to have some color on them. They're not meant to look perfect. And I just kept doing this. And I took the green, and I took the other tip, not the brush tip, and I just kind of went over these. It doesn't matter if you did them straight on, if you got off them a little bit, it will not matter. It's just giving it some color, and actually if it's not perfectly on it, I think it looks better because it shows the green like it would be a green stem type thing. So I just really like that it didn't do that. Okay, and then what I also did was I just went ahead wherever and I just kind of like flicked. I hope you could see this. Let me zoom you in again. There, I'll get you guys up over here some. Right here. I just went like this. I just kept flicking up my pen. So it made it look like grass all the way along here. If you have stamps that you could get out and just stamp a few along here, but I'm like, I just have the pencil there, or the marker right here in my hand, so I'll just make some. And so that's what I did. I just went ahead and kept flicking these up like that, and did it all the way across or down, doesn't matter. And then it just looks like grass. Now, on this very first one that I did, that's why I told you make sure you get it down far enough. I didn't have my stamps down far enough, so I kind of made grass. So even if you make a mistake, there's a way of fixing it. So I'm going to zoom you guys back out. Oops, wrong way. Zoom you guys back out here. A little bit more. So that is how I did the inside of the card. So now let me show you how I put the whole card together, which is pretty basic. I know I did it backwards a little bit. I explained how I made the top of the card before I actually, you know, showed you the base and everything, but I just wanted to get right into it because you only have 15 minutes on YouTube, but I think this may be a part 1, part 2 of the Easter card for everybody, because I don't want you to miss out on any of the stuff that I'm trying to explain, and when I cut out too much, then I feel like you guys miss out on it, so I don't want to cut. That's why I like to do lives, because I can do them as long as I want, and they will share them. But when you do them this way, then you have a lot more work. You have to do a lot more editing. Okay, so there is my cards, guys, and the other ones that I've been doing. Try and do another little quick video on an envelope that you can make cards. So I'm going to get this all cleaned up, and I will come back with another video.